Good morning, welcome to Breakfast with Rachel Burden and Charlie State.
Our headlines today. Boris Johnson's vision of a return to normality by Christmas is questioned amid warnings the winter may bring further problems.
The Metropolitan Police suspends an officer after footage emerges of him kneeling on a man's neck during an arrest.
Good morning. Leeds United are back in the Premier League for the first time in 16 years. Fans were celebrating into the night outside here at Ellen Road last night. I'll be gauging the mood in the city this morning throughout the programme.
Captain Sir Tom is formally knighted by the Queen at a special ceremony at Windsor. He'll be joining us live to talk us through his momentous day.
Good morning. Another warm day in prospect across the south of the UK. Sunshine and showers and a cooler feel in the north of the UK. And in between, cloud bringing outbreaks of rain. The forecast for wherever you're spending your Saturday later on here on Breakfast.
Good morning. It's Saturday, the 18th of July. Our top story today. The first of the latest changes to coronavirus restrictions in England come into effect today after the Prime Minister expressed the hope of a return to normality by Christmas.
Councils now have new powers to close shops and cancel events to manage local outbreaks of coronavirus. It's one of a series of measures to help ease lockdown over the coming months. Let's take a look at what's planned.
So from July 25th, a week today, indoor gyms, pools and other sports facilities can reopen.
Moving forward, August the 1st will see the return of live indoor events and wedding receptions with up to 30 people allowed to go ahead. The Prime Minister will also update employers on plans to get more of us back into the workplace.
And then from September in England, schools, nurseries and colleges will reopen. Universities, we understand, are working to reopen as fully as possible from this date.
And then from October, the government intends to allow audiences to return to stadiums, while conferences and other business events can also resume. Well, let's speak now to our political correspondent, Jessica Parker. So, morning to you, Jessica. So we have, in the one sense, we have a whole raft of changes, both now, as in today, and in the coming weeks and months. And then at the same time, we're hearing messages from the scientists, from the medical profession, about the real concerns about the autumn.
Yeah, and I think that Boris Johnson will continue to face questions about his plan going forward. So you mentioned, for example, the change in terms of working advice from August the 1st. The government's going to move from advice saying work at home if you can to giving employers more discretion. Now, some unions have suggested this is rather passing the buck on to employers. And of course, it came just a day after Sir Patrick Vallance, the chief scientific advisor to the government, said that there was no reason to change that advice. Now, important to stress that Boris Johnson did say yesterday that all of this is very much conditional on controlling the virus, on people sticking to the rules. But he did also offer up this rather tantalising prospect if things go well.
It is my strong and sincere hope that we will be able to review the outstanding restrictions and allow a more significant return to normality from November at the earliest, possibly in time for Christmas.
Now, Labour's First Minister in Wales, Mark Drakeford, suggested that this idea of a possible return to normality by Christmas was taking a rather sunny view of things. And let's have a listen also from Newsnight, where the former Chief Scientific Advisor, Sir Mark Walport, had this to say.
General principle of infection control is that you stop the transmission between people. And so there's two ways to do that. You have to separate people, and that's what's happened in the lockdown. And that has been successful to the point that actually the infection is now in decline. But nevertheless, there are somewhere between 3,000 and 11,000 new cases every day in England. So it's here, it's widely distributed.
So you, the two of you would agree that back to normal by Christmas, it's not really on?
It's going to be difficult. I think, it's impossible not to be cautious. I'm a clinician by background, and we know that winter is when respiratory viruses thrive. So it's going to be tough.
Now, of course, there are concerns about the possibility of a second wave this winter, and the government's talked about how it's going to ramp up test and trace, plough more money into the NHS, expand the flu vaccine programme. And, of course, we're going to see these new lockdown powers come into force today for local councils, and down the line new lockdown powers for ministers as well, who can do things like impose local stay-at-home orders. Of course, underlying some of this, ministers really want to just try and get the economy, the ailing economy, back up and running. But on that possibility of getting back to some kind of normality by Christmas, Boris Johnson did acknowledge it is just a possibility, but it's clearly one that some people think is not very likely.
Jessica, thank you.
The Metropolitan Police Deputy Commissioner says images posted on social media of an officer kneeling on a man's neck during an arrest in Islington on Thursday evening are extremely disturbing.
The officer has been suspended and another officer has been placed on restricted duties. Last night, a man was charged with possession of a knife in a public place. Danny Shaw has this report.
Okay. Get off me! Remove your leg. Remove your knee from his leg. Right. Get off my neck! Remove your knee from his leg.
An officer appears to kneel on the neck of a man police are trying to detain.
Okay. Have you done anything? Thank you very much. Get off my neck, man. Stay calm.
They were called after reports of a fight. The footage shot by someone at the scene shows the struggle with police. We've blurred the faces of those involved for legal reasons. At this point, the officer's knee seems to be on the ground, but his hand remains on the man's head.
When I went to see what happened, there was a crowd and his knee was still on his neck. Like I told you, when I got down there, his knee was on his neck still. The crowd has told him, take your knee, we're screaming, just take your knee off his neck. So he listened to the crowd and removed his knee.
Scotland Yard believes that in recent weeks officers have been unfairly targeted for using force after footage of incidents has appeared on social media. Police say clips tell only part of the story. But on this occasion, the Met's response to the video has been robust. In a statement, Sir Steve House, the Met's second highest ranking officer, said, "The video footage that I have seen today and is circulating on social media is extremely disturbing." He went on, "Some of the techniques used cause me great concern. They are not taught in police training." The incident comes after Black Lives Matter protests sparked by the death of George Floyd in America. A police officer knelt on his neck for almost 8 minutes. After this arrest, the suspect was taken to a police station and examined by a doctor. He's been charged with possession of a knife. Danny Shaw, BBC News.
Holidaymakers who are given refund credit notes rather than cash for their cancelled package holidays are being reassured their money is safe.
Previously, customers would have lost their holiday if the company they were travelling with went bust. But credit notes for future holidays will now be covered by the Atoll Protection Scheme. Katie Prescott reports.
Jennifer and her partner were due to get married in Las Vegas in June. The coronavirus put that trip on hold. The couple is still waiting for a refund.
We need that money to pay for the wedding that we've rearranged. So we're just chasing them. We just keep asking them, please, 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 will you refund us? But they're just saying there's a queue. £6,000, which is what ours cost, is not a small amount of money to anybody. To normal people like this, especially when my partner's been furloughed for 3 months.
Travellers who see their holidays cancelled should get a refund within 14 days. But given the sheer number of cancellations that the travel industry has seen over the past few months, many have struggled to meet that and have instead been issuing credit refund notes for holidays at a later date. The concern has been, though, if those companies go under, that travellers would lose their money and their holiday.
The government has stepped in to change this, pledging to underwrite all refund credit notes issued between the 10th of March and the 30th of September this year, up until the 30th of September 2021. This will cover atoll-protected bookings specifically cancelled due to Covid-19. The body that regulates the airlines says this should give travellers peace of mind.
It gives consumers that confidence to accept these credit notes. If they don't want to accept a refund, they can still take a refund if that's what they want. But then it does also give companies the opportunity to help to encourage those customers to book with them again in the future and start to get that pipeline of customers for them moving forward.
It's hoped the change will help keep people relaxed about taking a break. Katie Prescott, BBC News.
The owner of the Ask Italian and Zizi pizza chains is shutting 75 restaurants with the loss of up to 1,200 jobs. The closures are part of a rescue deal for the Azzurri Group, and 225 locations will continue to operate. The company said the coronavirus had hit restaurants hard.
Leeds United have been promoted to the Premier League after 16 years away. The club's place in the top flight was confirmed when West Brom lost to Huddersfield Town yesterday.
Supporters gathered outside the club stadium to celebrate, despite the club owner and police urging fans to stay at home. Kathy Killick reports.
Jubilation all round, not just for the winners, Huddersfield Town, but also Leeds United, who benefit so significantly from West Brom's loss. Emile Smith-Rowe's goal in the 86th minute seals not only his team's magnificent win, but also a return to the Premier League for Leeds United.
And where's that big noise coming from? It's the city of Leeds, because West Brom are faltering and Leeds United are minutes away from securing promotion to the Premier League.
Fans watching the action in the Thomas Osborne pub were overjoyed.
16 years, can't believe it. I was there when Leeds went down again, came back up where we belong. Jackie Charlton, that's for him. Hunter is for him. We've done it.
I'm speechless. That is one of the best moments of my life. I can't put anything into words. That's just amazing.
Absolutely buzzing. My dad's buzzing. We're all happy.
Elland Road quickly became the destination for celebrating fans, despite pleas from both the club and Leeds City Council to stay away. But in the jubilation of the moment, hundreds of fans came to the Leeds United ground, determined to celebrate, despite the risk of spreading coronavirus and the prohibition on gatherings. The Leeds United manager, Marcelo Bielsa, widely seen as a miracle worker by fans, was mobbed at home in Wetherby. Players, too, were quick to pay tribute.
He's the best manager in the world. There's no other manager I would rather.
We're just over the moon. This club and our fans and our players, we've sacrificed so much. We've been in the doldrums for 16 years. And to be part of this team and to lead this team to promotion back to where we know we've always belonged, it's unbelievable.
It's been a long, troubled 16 years since Leeds United played Premier League football. Now they're back. It's great for the city and great for the fans.
And we'll have more on that a bit later. Mike's going to be in Leeds for all the celebrations there.
A wonderful day for Captain Sir Tom Moore, who was knighted by the Queen at Windsor Castle yesterday, honouring his achievement, raising more than £32 million for the NHS.
And the weather was good for them as well. Look, the Second World War veteran was sponsored to walk, you'll know this, 100 laps of his garden in the days leading up to his 100th birthday in April. More than 8 million people had petitioned for him to be honoured. And there he is. What a proud moment.
Never, ever did I imagine that I should get so close to the Queen and have such a kind message from her. That was really outstanding. It really was truly outstanding. I've been really honoured that this should happen, and I'm thrilled that it did happen. And thank you everybody who subscribed to the funds. I really appreciate it, and thank you all very much.
Delighted to say that after 9 o'clock this morning, we will be speaking to Captain Sir Tom Moore, get the official title right as it is now, speaking to us from his home a little later on, with his family as well. So we'll find out a little bit more about what a lovely day. And as you say, the sunshine, it all came just right, didn't
it? Of course it did. How could it be any other way for the captain? So let's take a look at what's on today's front pages, and certainly pictures of that. But let's deal with some of the headlines first. The Guardian leads on the Prime Minister's hopes the UK will be back to normal by Christmas. However, the paper says his comments have sparked a row, and he's been accused of making policy on a wing and a prayer. Also featured, as I mentioned, that picture of Captain Sir Tom Moore being knighted by the Queen yesterday.
So the former England cricketer, Sir both of them, is set for a peerage. That's according to The Times. This morning, the paper says Mr Johnson is expected to mark his first anniversary in office by making Brexit loyalists peers.
And there has been a royal wedding, but you wouldn't necessarily have known about it. Princess Beatrice's secret wedding is the front page of the Mail. The paper says it's the first royal wedding to be held behind closed doors for 235 years. I think they had 15 close family and friends. Some speculation there that all the controversy surrounding Prince Andrew recently was also part of that decision.
And as we already heard, Leeds fans have been celebrating their beloved football club being promoted to the Premier League. And that features on the Leeds Live website today.
Now, it does feel a bit like people are beginning to move around the country, start their holidays, doesn't it? I mean, certainly in England, where the schools are just beginning to break up now. But what's the weather going to be like for everyone around and about today, Ben?
Well, Rachel, actually, it's quite interesting because it very much depends on where in the country you're going to be or where you're going to be moving. So, across the south of the UK, this is how we started off very early this morning for a weather watcher in Kent, with clear skies overhead, bit of mistiness, that'll clear. And at the other end of the country, Nairn in the Scottish Highlands, sunny skies to start off. But in between, well, we've got a bit of a troublemaker. We've got this band of cloud. And as you can see from our satellite image, it is moving pretty slowly. We've got a weather front bringing outbreaks of rain across parts of northern England, Wales and the Midlands, and this frontal system is not going to sweep through quickly. It is going to drag its heels and hang around pretty much all day long. So this is how we're starting off. 3 zones of weather really. For Scotland and for Northern Ireland, some sunny skies with some showers, quite windy in the far north and quite a cool, fresh start to the day here. For Northern England, for North Wales, the Midlands, we start off with cloud, outbreaks of rain on and off. And then towards the southwest, across into East Anglia, the southeast, some sunny spells. I think a fair amount of cloud around through this morning, certainly at first, but it is going to turn into another very warm day across these southeastern areas. Notice our weather front still just dragging its heels through northern England, Wales, getting down into the Midlands, and then to the northwest of that we have that mix of sunshine and showers, and it will be quite windy in the far north of Scotland. Temperatures here, well, on the low side, 17 to 19 degrees, quite a fresh feel. Temperatures struggling under our weather front as well. 26 is possible towards the southeast of England, but this probably isn't what you want to see if you're an England cricket fan, because we're expecting a lot of cloud at Old Trafford today, and rain will come and go throughout the day. It may just dry up into the evening as this frontal system pushes its way slowly southwards. That'll take some rain with it across England and Wales through tonight. In fact, some heavier bursts for a time. To the northwest of that, clearing skies, showers into the northwest, and actually for many, particularly across the northern half of the UK, it is going to be a much cooler, fresher night than we had in the night that's just gone. And then into tomorrow, well, our front's still in no mood to clear away. So it's going to stay quite cloudy and damp, I think, through East Anglia, southern counties of England, throughout a good part of tomorrow. Further north and west, we will see some sunshine. Showers across Scotland, quite a few showers potentially, but it will be a cooler, fresher day for all of us by this stage, with highs between 14 and 20 degrees. So that weather front will eventually, by the end of the weekend, clear away southeastwards. And as we head into the start of next week, high pressure builds its way in. So if you are off work or you're heading on holiday somewhere in the UK, it's not looking too bad, particularly down towards the south. We'll see some spells of sunshine. The further north and west you are, well, I think there is a chance that we'll see some outbreaks of rain at times. So I think over the next few days, it is looking pretty mixed. Rachel, Charlie, back to you.
See the headlines as they happen and watch BBC News live in the app and get the full story with bbc.co.uk/news. Follow the story for all the latest with BBC News.